The J. Michaels Show.
We have a great episode for you this time. Sarah Hall, a harpist, is with us. We're going to say hi to Sarah and get her to tell you all about her. Hi, Sarah.
Thanks for having me.
Tell the audience what you do. You're a harpist. Yeah, I see your harp back there. It's beautiful.
Yes, I'm a professional harpist. I'm based in Austin, Texas. I've been playing harp in general for 20 years, classically trained. And then I've been doing gigs professionally for 10 years now, which is kind of a scary number, but yeah.
Do you still go around in the van that you built?
The van is currently broken down.
Oh.
But, so for the meantime, no, but hopefully someday in the future, yes.
You did a lot of work on that van to kind of make it a mobile studio. Tell us about your van.
Yeah, so during COVID, things were, of course, kind of uncertain. Everybody was not sure what to do with being stuck at home and all the extra time they had. And I got on the internet and saw a bunch of videos of people converting vans and really, really needed to do it. So spent, I think it was 5 months converting a empty Ram Pro Master. Very amateur build, lots of nails that shouldn't be there, and I forgot how cabinets work at one point, and it's a very I put a lot of love into it, and you can see that in some of the caulking. But yeah, and so I did a few months traveling around in that. It had quite a few mechanical issues, and it I went through, I think, 3 computers on it.
Oh, wow.
And at one point, the alternator went. I went through so many tires on that thing, so many flat tires.
Wow.
So yeah, it's out of commission right now, but hopefully someday in the future we'll be in it again.
You did live in it for a while, didn't you? You lived in a van down by the river?
Yeah, I got a lot of comments about that, yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
Well, you do weddings and you do events, but you also have worked with a band before, haven't you?
Yeah, I'm in a couple of bands off and on, one for a local singer named Maylot, and then another for another singer named Kate Heron. And those are really fun. I think one of my absolute favorite things that I do with the harp, it really pushes me creatively. I don't have set parts for either of it's all their original music, and I don't have set parts to it. So it really forces me out of my comfort zone to come up with parts and kind of experiment with different things that I wouldn't normally get the opportunity to. And both just really fun people in both the bands, so it's really fun.
And you were on NPR at one point, weren't you? Tiny Desk?
Yes, yeah. We with Kate Heron, she submitted our band for Tiny Desk competition, and we got kind of like a runner-up kind of position, and we got to open for the act when they were on tour. We got to open for them in Austin at Antone's.
Wow. Tell me about that experience.
It was incredible. I mean, especially seeing the main act on stage. I mean, you could immediately tell why they won. They were absolutely incredible. And being able to share the stage with them was incredible. Meeting all the people from NPR, all the fans that listened to Tiny Desk that came out. Just real lovers of music, no matter what it is. And yeah, it was a really, really fun night.
Okay, I'm just looking here. You played Trail of Lights, a preview party. Tell me about that.
Yeah, I did that, I think, 2 years now. And I'm up on the big HEV stage right at the entrance. which feels kind of daunting. It's a huge stage, and there's just me and my harp right in the middle. I feel like I almost don't fill it out enough, but those are really fun. It's a lot of like families, and the kids love all the Christmas carols. I've never heard more people like screaming along the words to things as I'm playing. So those have both been really fun. And I'm a huge I love a good theme. So like I'm a huge holiday person, and so like getting to dress up, have the reindeer antlers, do the whole Christmas themed set list. It's really fun.
You do a lot of Christmas events. You get busy during Christmas, right?
Yes. It's very easy to play a lot of Christmas music on the harp, so.
Yeah. Speaking of your harp, how difficult is it to break it down, move it, and set back up? Tell us about what all you have to do in order to play.
Yeah, that's kind of the behind the scenes of the job, and definitely my least favorite part of the job, especially if there's like stairs or really chunky gravel or anything like that. So basically it just fits in my car. I drive a Bronco Sport. It fits in the back. Granted, I am very short, so I can move the driver's seat up pretty far, so it makes a little bit more room. I think if I were a very tall person, it might not work out. But yeah, it's, I think 6 feet tall exactly, and it fits in the back. It's hard to describe with words, but I have a cart, a dolly that it goes on, and I wheel it around, and a full protective padded cover. And then I line it up with these hand motions here. My trunk is here. I kind of line it up here like this. I line it up here, and then I kind of rest it like this, and then I pick up the bottom and slide it in.
Oh, wow. Okay, so at what age did you start playing the harp? When did you learn, and how many harps do you have?
Yeah, I started when I was 6, and I think over the years I've gone through. I think this is my 4th one, if I remember correctly. This is my 4th one. I currently have 3. I have this one. I have an electric harp that's called a Delta, and then I have a kind of smaller harp that's called a harpsichord. But this is my main one, and her name is Meta. And I've had her since, I think, maybe 8 or 9 years now.
Wow. What's the difference between the 3 types that you have?
Yeah, so I guess a little lesson on the harp. This is called a concert grand harp, and it is the more complicated version. It has pedals at the bottom that change accidentals, so sharps, flats, and naturals. Right. And the pedals at the bottom connect to a metal rod down the front of it, and then change these pins here. And these pins kind of act almost as like your fingers pressing on the frets of a guitar. But they make the string a half step, shorter or longer. Right. And this was invented in 1800 in England. And before that, the mechanism for harps to play in different keys was with levers, which my harpsichord has. And those, it's just a lever, it's up or down. There's only one option. With this, there's 3 options. So it's either up or down, it's either sharp or natural, or how you tune it, natural or flat. So you could not, on the same string, go flat, natural, sharp in the same piece. You'd have to stop and kind of retune the whole harp. And the levers are all kind of at the top. So you could look, whenever you see a harp, you can notice if there's levers up here. It's a lever harp. There's not. It's a pedal harp. And so, before 1800, when this one was invented, there wasn't much harp in orchestra because orchestral music is more complicated. There's key changes. There's a bunch of different accidentals. So harp just wasn't really able to play that kind of music. And then once this was invented, you see the harp start to be in orchestral music.
Yeah. So is it, you mentioned tuning it. That's a lot of strings. Is it difficult to tune? And does it take a while?
It takes me a couple minutes. I get pretty fast at it, and I'm lucky. Harps are they're very complicated and delicate instruments, and they're all very different. I've had harps before that go out of tune really easily. This one, luckily, does not go out of tune easily, so I can kind of get by a few days without tuning, and it'd be okay. It also doesn't break strings very often. Usually strings only break in like the spring and the fall whenever the weather's changing. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it takes me a couple minutes to tune. It's not too bad. I've gotten pretty fast at changing strings too when they break. But definitely it's not like tuning a violin or something.
Yeah. Do you have one of those smaller ones that you hold?
Yes. Where?
Go ahead, Will. We'll wait.
Okay.
She's going to go into the other room and get her handheld harp and show it to us. Those of you who are listening to this as an audio podcast, you may want to switch over to YouTube, pull up the show so you can see this wonderful harp that she's about to show us. It's really, really nice. Oh, look at that.
Yeah, so this is what I mean by the levers up top, up or down. Yeah. This is my Delta. It's an electric. That's why it looks pretty different. It's carbon fiber, and it kind of works the same as an electric guitar versus an acoustic guitar. Like this doesn't have very full of sound unless you plug it in, whereas this it's much fuller and projects.
Do you have an MP4, a video of you playing something original on tape?
I don't have anything original. I'm not a huge writer, being classically trained. That's something I'm kind of trying to work on, but I unfortunately don't have anything original.
Do you have Christmas songs?
Yes.
Some of those that are public domain.
Yes, I do, and like classical songs, yeah.
Yeah. I would love for you to send me one of those, and I'll attach it to this podcast, and so the audience will get to hear you. I would say play, but over Zoom, over the internet, it doesn't sound good at all.
Yeah.
Well, Sarah, tell me, are you a summer person or winter person? Which do you like best?
Winter.
Yeah, really?
Winter. I run hot. And I don't like to sweat, so if it hits like 68 degrees, I'm sweating.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
That's a temperature there. So what is Waveside? Talk a little.
Yeah, Waveside. That was with Kitty Coen, singer-songwriter. She used to live in Austin. She's now based out of Nashville. But yeah, she reached out to me because they had come up with a song of hers that they were recording and happened to think that the melody in the background of it would sound really good on harp. I'm not quite sure how they found me. I guess just probably word of mouth. They're Googling Austin Harpist. But yeah, that was a really fun experience. That was my first time recording in a like really legit studio setting. It was like very expensive equipment, very serious, with a really, really talented producer. And so that was a huge milestone kind of for me to be on that. And it's also just an incredible song in general.
Well, you and I went into a studio, and I carried Native American flutes to play, and the studio was just not prepared to handle a harp and flutes. So this studio, tell me about the studio and working in it.
I mean, the studio that we recorded in, a little tiny for the harp. I kind of felt like a elephant in a china shop, but I kind of do in a lot of places. But the studio was huge room, beautiful acoustics. It was out in, I think, West Austin, kind of out in Bee Cave area.
Okay. Well, one other thing, I'm looking at your harp over there. What does something like that cost?
Yeah, so this is a very common question. I will say it does cost more than my car. Um, it is a Lion and Healy, which is the only American harp maker, which they're made in Chicago. This one is a style 100, and this wood tone is called natural. You'll see them in like black, chestnut, natural. Sometimes they're painted different colors. So it's a natural 100 Lion and Healy. And this I got in, I believe, 2016 or 2017. And it was, I believe, $21,000.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Like you say, you could buy a car for that. And then you have padding that it goes in and wraps around it when you transport it.
Yes. Yeah. It's like a thick fleece, kind of padded case.
Uh-huh. So you do weddings. What other events do you do?
I do odd things here and there. I just this weekend played a graduation for one of the colleges at UT.
Mm-hmm.
So I just played Pomp and Circumstance over and over again. It's like odd things like that. Birthday parties, wedding showers, corporate events, galas, things like that. Fancy dinners. It's just a whole mishmash of different things. I've played at whiskey tastings. I've played at Kentucky Derby.
Wow.
It's just it's kind of all over the place, and it's hard to put a general descriptor word on what they all kind of fall under.
Which kind of event do you love playing in?
I would say any event that's open to the public, because I mean, for your viewers, how many of them have seen a harp up close in person?
Right.
It's really a rare opportunity, and a lot of people get really excited. It's a very interesting instrument. And people are just really excited to, walk into a random venue and see a harp sitting there, and get to have the experience of seeing it up close. I do, if you ever see me in the wild, I do let you touch it if you ask. I do let you sit down and play it. I invite people who are super interested in it sometimes to just sit down and play. I love giving people that opportunity that I know is probably the only time in their life that they're going to get that close to a harp.
Right. Have you ever thought about teaching lessons, or have you?
Most harpists teach, even if it's just a side thing. Most teach. I will say I'm bad at it, and two, I don't really enjoy it because I'm bad at it. I have done kind of one-off lessons here and there if somebody just wants the experience one time, or if they are just really starting out with like the bare basic fundamentals, like learning to read sheet music kind of thing. I'll do that every once in a while. I've had a few lessons where I've taught friends, just for fun. But yeah, unless I get a lot of training, I don't see it as a potential career path.
Mm-hmm. So you play by sheet music. Do you ever just improvise? I play mainly off of piano music, sheet music. And the way that harp and piano are pretty different, and like the capabilities and what makes sense to play are very different on the two. Right.
And so whenever I'm reading piano sheet music, it's at least the bass line is usually mostly improvised based off of what's there. I'm pretty much never accurately playing what's on that sheet music.
Yeah.
Unless it's very, very well written or written specifically for harp. So I find myself...
That was my next question is, do they write music specifically for harp, and how is it different from other sheet music?
Yeah, they do. It's just harpists writing it, I think, probably because there's not enough of it.
Yeah.
because I mean it's an uncommon instrument, and nobody who doesn't play the harp is going to know how to write for harp.
Right.
It kind of, a lot of things about it are kind of counterintuitive to other instruments that most people know. So I think examples of how it's different, things that always annoy me when I'm reading like a treble line from violin or piano music is a lot of them have tied notes. And in harp, you don't have a tied note because you pluck the string once and it holds itself. So you don't need to demonstrate that tie. It sustains itself, yeah.
Wow.
And with piano or something, you would, hold it down until the tied note is done. Harp, there's no function for that. And so when I was first starting out trying to sight read piano music and stuff, I would always play the second of the tied note.
Yeah.
And that would trip me up a lot. By now, I'm kind of used to ignoring it in my brain, but that's a way that it's different. Piano, also, you play with 5 fingers on each hand. Harp, you only play with 4 on each hand. You don't use your pinkies. So sometimes chords will be with 5 notes in the bass, and I can't do that. So just little weird things like that people who don't play wouldn't even occur to them.
Yeah. So the other side of the harp would be the low notes, and the high notes are up there towards the top, right?
Yes. These are the bass.
Uh-huh.
The treble.
Uh-huh. Wow. And you have to know, of course, which one is which. And it's not numbered or labeled or anything. Yeah. That would be something to have to learn.
Yes. They are color coded, luckily. You can, I don't know if it'll show up super well on video, but the reds are C's and the blacks are F's. It's in octaves like that. And yeah, it's a lot of it, because I can't, when I'm playing, my head's here, and so I can't really see all these up here. So a lot of these are by feel and just muscle memory of knowing where they are.
Well, have you ever played with a group or yourself on television or on a show?
On TV, not that I know of. Things may have been aired. But I did play for KXAN. They did a little tiny news segment on me a few years ago. Nothing else that I can think of off the top of my head.
What is the radio company Volume 2 on your website?
Yeah, that is a band with Jensen Ackles and Steve Carlson. And Steve is based here in Austin. I don't know if the other member is or not. But Steve is based here in Austin, really great musician. And he asked me they wanted harp on a couple of songs, and he asked me to come record a couple of things. And that was my first time ever going into studio with no notes on what they wanted or sheet music or anything. That was my first time just fully having to listen to what they were playing for me and improvise, make things up. So that was pretty daunting. Listening back a few years later now, I think I did okay. Like I every time I listen, it goes for a year, and then I go back and I listen, and I'm like, okay, I did a lot better than I thought I did. I felt really nervous and shaky getting out of it because I kind of blacked out for half of it, really. But yeah, that was a really fun experience, and I've done a couple of things with Steve Carlson since then.
So you're based out of Austin, Texas. Do you play San Antonio and Houston and Dallas, and do you go all over the state and out of state to play?
Yeah, I go to Dallas and Houston probably a handful of times a year, San Antonio pretty frequently. And then, I go out of state every once in a while. I've gone to Mississippi. I've gone to DC. Anywhere else? I played the Kentucky Derby.
Yeah.
And then I did another thing in Tennessee.
So tell us about the Kentucky Derby. What was that
Yeah,
like?
that was incredible.
Yeah, must
It was
have been.
it was wild. It was one of those things where I never thought I would end up, I never thought I'd go to the Kentucky Derby in my life. And
Uh,
then I kind of crossed off a bucket list item that I didn't know I had.
right.
Um, and it was just a really incredible experience. I went with a group of other performers. They were like acrobats and just other types of performers as well there. And so we went as a little group, and I played, I think that evening I think my set was 5 hours long,
Wow.
if I remember correctly, and I was dying by the end of it. Everything hurt, my fingers hurt, my back hurt, but it was like so worth it. It was like just the most incredible thing ever.
How long is a normal set for you? How long do you sit and play?
Usually shortest is an hour and longest usually is 3 hours. Um, However, if it's if it's something cool, I will push it.
What's cool to you? What would you say? Okay, I will absolutely play for 8 hours straight on this.
Oh my goodness. Oh, I mean, I pushed it with the Kentucky Derby. I think that's one of the longer sets I've done. I did a dinner with multiple seatings one time that I believe was 6 hours.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know. I think if it was like a bunch of showings of a concert or something, or I don't know, what's on the level of Kentucky Derby? I
I
don't-
don't know. You said you played Mississippi. I'm from Mississippi, so tell me about that experience.
Yeah, we played a wedding out in, oh, what was it? It was a little town. Um,
Was it Ellisville?
it was Ellisville,
Yeah,
yes.
that's where I grew up.
Really? I did not know that.
Yeah, it's a little small town, but
It was very cute.
yeah, I figured you'd like it. But
Yeah.
then you said you played Tennessee.
Yes, that was another wedding. Yeah.
Okay. So
In
somebody's having a wedding anywhere in the country, if they'll get you there. Do you ever fly with the harp? And is it difficult to put it in an airplane?
I've flown with the Delta that I told you a minute ago. I've flown with that, and I had to convince the airline hostess to allow me to put it in the closet at the front of the airplane because there
Uh,
was nowhere else in the plane it was going to fit, and I was not about to check it. So that was my experience flying with the Delta. This not really can't get on an airplane. Usually when I'm going to play somewhere else, I rent a harp in
yeah.
the destination that I'm going to go or somewhere nearby and then drive it. Like I think for the one in Mississippi, we flew into New Orleans and I rented a harp that was in New Orleans and I drove it to
Okay.
LA. Yeah.
Yeah, because I can imagine how difficult it would be to fly somewhere with that big thing. You just can't do it, right?
Yeah, and I'd be so scared the entire time. I would be,
Yeah.
be sweating.
Yeah, it's like putting your car in an airplane. I mean,
Yeah.
what if this thing crashes? Not only do you crash the airplane, but my car is
Yeah.
crashed.
Yeah. I think way too much risk. It is insured, but I don't know if the insurance company, if I'd be able to talk them into covering an airplane crash.
But that's your livelihood. That is your business right there.
Yes.
Everything is in those harps and
Yes.
and your band down by the river.
Yeah.
Tell me about this album, Happier Than Ever, and what band was that with? And you're on it.
Yeah, that was Summerlee Singh is a pianist based in LA. And I connected with her online over, I think just over Instagram, a few, I don't, maybe 2017-ish, 2018. And I had just started going to UT. And she was coming around to a couple of different cities to recruit musicians to play. If there were any touring bands, she'd have kind of a list of people she'd recommend when have different stops on their tour. And so we connected when she was here in Austin, and we played a cover of Billie Eilish's Happier Than Ever with piano, harp, and violin. And that was something that Summer's also an incredible arranger. And so she had arranged that just before. And we met up in the orchestra hall at UT and recorded that, and the audio turned out really good. So she posted it. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. You know, I skipped this, or I didn't mention this when we were talking about everywhere you play. How far will you go to play?
I mean, if the plane ticket's covered, I'll go.
Yeah. Cool. You'll go anywhere. Have you ever had the opportunity to go out of the United States and play?
There's been a couple of like weddings here and there that were in the talks. None of them have actually panned out. Hopefully, I'm crossing my fingers that eventually one of them will happen. Yeah.
Cool. Well, we're gonna put all of your links under this video, so when it airs, the viewer can click on one of those links, find out anything they want to about you. So glad, so happy, Sarah, that you were able to join me for a show this week.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
I have enjoyed every minute of it. Well, we'll see you next time on The J. Michael Show.
Goodbye.